What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in and I hope you're doing well. Now today I've got a pretty awesome day lined up. I'm actually off to Collecticon in Penrith for a bit of toy hunting. After that I'm going back to my friends Dean and Sarah's place for a barbecue with a few mates. I'm really looking forward to it. Now no Collecticon video today. I've done plenty of toy hunting videos lately, so there's plenty there to check out if you're into a bit of toy hunting. But I couldn't miss the opportunity to film a tour of my mate Dean's collection room as part of my Aussie Collectors Showcase series of videos. So that's what we're doing today. We're doing a collection room tour of my mate Dean's collection. Now, Dean is a name that might be familiar to some of you. I actually met Dean at the first toy fair of this year, and I've mentioned him a couple times on the channel, and we even had Dean and his wife Sarah as special guests on one of our Collectors Pack live streams. So some of you might be familiar with them. If not, I definitely recommend you go check out their Instagram. I'll put a link to that down below in the description so you can follow along with their toy and collectible hunting adventures. Now, I'm really excited to see Dean's collection. It's going to be the first time I've seen it, so I'm pumped about that. And even more so because Dean's into a lot of the same sort of stuff I'm into. Very much a focus on vintage TMNT. He's also into the kind of 90s movie lines that I'm getting more and more into, like Kenner's Terminator 2 and Robin Hood action figure lines, and even some really random stuff that I love, like the Australian version of the American Gladiators action figure line. So I know for certain I'm going to see some stuff that I think is awesome, and I hope you guys do too. So let's go check it out. Alrighty guys, I'm here with my mate Dean. We've had a great morning at Collecticon. We've just had a barbecue, but I'm excited to share with you Dean's awesome collection room. And one thing that's really unique about Dean's collection room relative to the other ones that we've looked at, like Matt's and Andrew's from Keep On Collecting, one thing that I really like about this space is it's a proper living space. He's got a couch set up, some video games going. As you can see, we've got more retro games behind us. So just a really cool space, but tons of awesome vintage toys, some modern collectibles as well. So before we flip this thing around and we share the room, just want to introduce my mate Dean. You might already be familiar with Dean through his Instagram, Totally Taylor Retro Hunters. I'll flash that somewhere up here, so definitely go check that out. But Dean, before we check out the room, how long have you been collecting? I mean, I know you grew up at a similar era to me. You were big into turtles, street sharks, that sort of stuff. But did you go through that period of your teenage years or your 20s where you stopped, or have you been doing this all the way through?
No, absolutely. The same as you.
Yeah.
I stopped during my 20s.
Yeah.
Just went out and lived life and
focused. Other things became more important than the toys. Yeah.
So got back into it and started the video game collection that you can see behind us.
So the video games came before the action figures?
Sort of together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. No, that's awesome. Well, I love the video game setup that we've got going on here. So let's flip this around. We'll go through the collection room. And if there's, noteworthy items, stuff from your childhood, stuff that has stories to go with it, we'll have a chat about some of those and we'll show you what we got.
Excellent.
Let's do it. Alrighty guys, here it is. So here is a bit of a bird's eye view of Dean's awesome collection room. Like I mentioned, very much a livable space, which I love. Like, this is not just purely display space, this is absolutely living space. And as you can tell by the roller door there, we're in Dean's garage. So this is definitely an awesome garage setup. Let's come down these stairs and we'll start to work our way through the room and we'll see what we got. So where do we begin? Begin with the turtles?
Have to begin with turtles. So turtles is my biggest collection I have. A lot of these turtles you see here, so especially these vehicles, are my childhood turtles.
That is so awesome. Yeah, that's definitely one of the kind of common or reoccurring themes with Dean's collection is there's just tons of childhood survivors. Got to give a shout out to Dean's dad for having the foresight to tuck a lot of this stuff away.
Exactly. So yeah, this is literally my cup from when I was a little wee one.
That's awesome. So we've got the foot cruiser, we've got the mutant module, we've got the box for Krang's android body, which we'll see very shortly. Work our way here through the turtle cabinets. So we've got the classics, we've got the OG 88s, and I like how you got the 4 turtles in their original form, in their movie stars form, in their movie 3 form.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep that top one nice and clean.
Just classic to the 4 brothers. And then we just work our way down here and we just got lots of figures. Now, one thing that's really interesting, and here's where I love seeing how different people approach collecting. Dean's put a lot of his focus on just filling out the figures, like getting as many figures from the vintage TMNT line as possible. And, you know, accessories kind of as like a secondary focus. And Dean's got a ton of accessories that he hasn't yet gotten around to displaying with these figures. But yeah, it's interesting, whereas my focus is very much trying to pick up complete figures as I work my way through. So yeah, really cool TMNT collection here.
So I think now I'm 3 figures away from the first 4 waves.
Wow.
And like you said, I just haven't had the time to dig all the accessories out and match them all up, but they will come. There is plenty of them.
And then if we can't forget about what's going on up here, because it's floor to ceiling action in here. So on card, we've got a lot of the reissues that have been released over the years. But then we've obviously got the vintage sewer playset there with some modern figures.
So that's the 2003 and the newer Nickelodeon. So they're the only ones that I wanted from those lines. So they're all complete.
Yep. And then you got some of the reissued boxed vehicles up here.
I do, yes.
And then you got the original collector's case, which is awesome up there. So yeah, lots of cool stuff here. And I can't forget about the Indiana Jones collection over here.
That is the my other half, my wife Sarah.
Yeah.
So she's into Indiana Jones. It's one of her favourite movies. So she's just started this collection of the figures there.
So the other half of Totally Taylor Retro Hunters. Collecting is very much a family affair in this house. We mentioned Dean's dad being, you know, a big part of collecting in the Taylor family, and Sarah getting involved as well. So that's awesome. So there's the first cabinet of TMNT figures. And then we move our way along here. We've got some awesome art.
And these are Stuart.
Yep.
If you ever go to Supernova or Oz Comic Con, Stuart's always one of the highlights there. So he's actually signed all those for me.
Very cool. And then we've got the gaming setup here. So I spot the Super Nintendo, which is cool.
So my childhood Super Nintendo.
Really?
See down here, so still works. I still play it today. I try not to use it as much because I've got the little mini now to play some of those more classic games. My original OG Xbox.
That's awesome.
And then there's just down the bottom is just a collection of the 360s and the PSs. That is my original childhood 64 as well.
Very cool. Alrighty, keep working our way around. What's going on up here?
So Game of Thrones. These are the Dark Horse Game of Thrones figures. So I don't have the whole set, but
yeah,
as you can see, there's a good chunk of them that I collected at the height of that TV show. So just loved them. They were good sculpts.
Yeah, really cool figures.
I don't know if you can see in there, but there is a sort of bootleg throne.
Yeah.
Up in the middle in here.
Oh, very cool. And then more awesome vintage action here. So a little splash of Toxic Crusaders with the Skater Crusader and Toxie. Toxie's seen better days. Not only is he missing a forearm, he's also missing an eye. But
yes,
still really cool. Still displays nicely alongside the party wagon here.
So again, my childhood party wagon.
Yep.
And these are actually from my childhood as well.
No way.
I think they were my 10th birthday. So they were a set of the turtle plates that we didn't open.
I can't believe I mean, that's fair enough, the figures, the vehicles, but that's the kind of stuff that would just go in the bin back in the day. So
absolutely. And like you said, it's all thanks to my father. He just decided to keep it all, and he just put it away in case. And yeah,
good on him.
As I got back into it, he started bringing it all over.
And then we've got some Batman games here, which are awesome.
So some of the board games. The Batman games actually from my childhood again, but the Batman Forever is a recent pickup.
Gotcha.
And you can see there's a bit of a little bootleg, my only bootleg turtle.
Oh yes, I did spot this earlier. Let's have a look at that. That's pretty crazy to see. With the original card back. Oh, and the card back's actually got...
And you can see where I've done the same thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Circled the figures that I wanted or needed. So,
man, like card backs, like the cross sells on card backs were so good. I mean, I was watching a YouTube channel that I quite enjoy from a wrestling perspective, the New 80s Revolution. Shout out Jason up at the New 80s Revolution. He was talking about you know, the back of the box or the back of the card being the Google of the era. I mean, that's the only way you knew what else was in the line that you needed. So
absolutely. I still got all my card backs. I don't have them in here, but on the back of them there's all circles and crosses, and I'd give that to my parents and say, for Christmas or birthday, please.
That's awesome. So we got more sweet Turtles figures here, and some really cool ones like Monty Moose, King Lionheart, Sandstorm. That the King Lionheart I remember from a Collecticon recently. I mentioned it on the channel during a Collecticon toy hunt. Dean finding that King Lionheart for $2 in just, you know, a loose tub. So that's awesome.
And for any keen eye, yes, my wingnut does have two of the same wings. So.
Yep, we were having a chuckle about that earlier. Wingnut with two right wings.
That's it. So that's my only on-card original.
So so you got the card at April. Are there any figures on this shelf from your childhood, or are these all more recent acquisitions?
The Shredders, Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yep.
They're all the soft heads as well, so they're all from my childhood. But
yeah, we were chatting about that earlier. Like, for you to have childhood figures that are soft heads was a bit of a surprise to me because, I mean, certainly all my childhood TMNT figures are hard heads. I wasn't sure that those early release soft heads came to Australia back in the day. So that's awesome. More Turtles, and there we have the awesome childhood android body, which is wicked, with the antenna intact, with the the glass or perspex cover, the original Krang, all the decals. Like, for that to be a childhood survivor in that nicer condition, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it wasn't a figure that I played with a lot
because of the scale.
Yeah, it just didn't match in with what I was doing at the time, so I always just left him in the box. So he survived the test of time pretty well.
There you go. Oh, you got a tattoo that still has some tattoos?
3 out of 4.
Yeah, that's awesome. I need a replacement sticker sheet for my tattoo.
But that's my original Krang.
Oh, yep.
Foot soldiers. I do have a little build of foot soldiers, so I have about 12 of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
I only displayed one just for the room and space.
Yep. Work our way down. We got more TMNT figures, including some of the awesome Toon figures, which you never see these days, or at least here in Australia, like at the fairs we go to, I never find these Toon figures, the Vern and the Burn and the Irma.
Yeah, so Vern and Burn were, again, from my childhood.
Wow.
So they were cool figures. The card backs on them were amazing.
They're so wild how they've got like accessories sculpted into their hands. Like you got Burn with the sandwich and
he's got a bit of toilet paper, I think, on his foot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the sculpting detail. And the paint on the Toon figures are like pearlescent. Like, yep. They got a kind of unique finish to them. And then we've got more down here. So we've got some of the, the movie stars mutants. We've got the Technodrome Scout, which is really cool. And just some of the other gimmicky figures, the mutant military.
So the one thing I'm still searching for is the actual Technodrome itself.
Yep.
That's kind of my holy grail piece.
That's at the top of the wish list?
That is at the top of the wish list.
Very cool. Alrighty. And then we break from the Turtles to get into some superhero action here. So these arennt Kenner, are they? Are these Toy Biz superheroes figures, or?
Yeah, Toy Biz. It's a bit of a mixture going on in here.
Gotcha.
So this is just my sort of DC shelf. I'm still working with it.
Yep.
But I love the glasses from the Batman Forever, the 1995 glasses. When I got back into collecting, it was the first thing I was on the hunt for.
So they're not from when you were a kid?
No, they're not. So lucky enough just to find them in op shops.
Yeah.
When I started looking for them, they were just everywhere.
Yeah, well, it's the kind of thing that in like retro hunting videos, in the States, they seem to pop up in flea markets all the time, whereas I never see them. I don't do a ton of op shop hunting, but if I'm walking past, I will go in and have a look, and I don't tend to see them very often at all, if ever, so they're cool to see.
Scarce. So, from the superhero line, Aquaman is my favourite.
Yep.
A lot of people say why, but I think the new movie proved how cool he could be.
For sure.
These Justice Leagues on the side, minus the two New 52 at the back, they're all bootlegs from Hong Kong.
Really?
So I picked them up at the Hong Kong markets.
Wow.
I just liked the detail on them was great. The movie was new, so yeah.
And then one thing I didn't notice when we came in earlier was you got some Star Wars representation in here.
I do. This is only half of mine. I'm doing the stands for them, so I've only displayed just a select few of them.
Yeah.
So probably got another 20, 25 to put up.
Sweet.
But got the nice little yak face.
Oh, that's awesome.
In there.
And then you got a couple of statues down here, so got some Jack Sparrow action, some 007.
Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Best James Bond.
Your choice of Bond.
Oh, I have to go Sean Connery first, but Pierce Brosnan in the modern era.
From our era for sure.
Yes.
Like, Pierce Bond movies are really nostalgic to me.
So my pop vinyl collection.
Yeah.
Is really when the pops started. Picked up a few and then decided.
And very superhero focused from what I can see here. Oh yeah, a bit of X-Files. So I suppose you've just got characters here that kind of mean something to you.
Exactly.
You know, you're not going all out collecting pops.
No, and they just took up so much room, so it was a quick decision. That wasn't the path I wanted to go down. I wanted to look more at the vintage figure lines.
Yep, fair enough. And then we got Turbo Man there. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's the new Turbo Man, not the production they did a couple of years ago from Funko.
Sweet. And then we've got a little bit of MOTU action here, but we've got Arnie hanging out in front of Castle Grayskull.
That's because I don't own the vintage He-Man yet. So I just thought Arnie will hold the fort.
That's a Commando figure, right? Is
Correct.
That? Yeah. Pretty cool figure, actually. Very MOTU inspired in the like in the body sculpt. But that Arnie head is awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. And then we've got some vintage He-Man and all, is that that's an Origins figure there at the back? That's Skeletor?
That's the only Origins one that I wanted.
Cool. So we've got vintage MOTU figures. A little bit more vintage MOTU here. Are you still on the hunt for like, are you trying to pick up more MOTU?
I'm not going for a complete set. I am just picking up. I'm trying to accessorize these guys right now.
Yep.
So that's sort of my focus on this and getting the He-Man. These aren't from my childhood. These are sort of what I've gotten into when I've gotten back into collecting.
Cool.
So my older brother, he had a lot of this stuff. So I wanted it too.
Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? And then you got some Simpsons stuff. So these are just these. Who made these? Were these Playmates or?
No, I don't think they were Playmates. They sold them in waves out of Target.
Oh, okay.
So not a whole set.
Yep.
But just a couple of waves.
Who doesn't love a bit of Simpsons though?
That's it.
And then some Jurassic Park stuff here. So some original Kenner stuff by the looks of it. Yeah, let's get that open so we can have a better look there.
So this is sort of Sarah's trilogy as well. So Jurassic Park is her go-to movie.
Sweet.
As well as Indiana Jones. So that's her little setup.
I love that Greater Union cut back there for the Lost World. That's awesome.
And there's just some random gargoyles and Star Trek in there.
Oh yeah. Very
just
cool.
found a way.
Sweet. Alrighty, excuse the shakiness as I get myself back up to my feet. Let's take a step back here and see what we're going on. So we've got some Star Trek stuff up here. So why don't you tell us what's going on up here, mate?
So, loved Star Trek TV show. Voyager was my favourite TV show back in the day. But as I got older, I've enjoyed all of them. Just pickups over the last 10 years. I just love the Playmates line. My father had pretty much all the figures loose, and I don't know if you ever saw the Enterprise playset that they had. So played with them a lot as a child. So as I got older, I wanted to get them myself.
Yeah, you need them back. And then I love this stuff up here. Some of these board games are super nostalgic to me. The original Nightmare I love. So I was stoked to see that up there.
So you didn't like that guy yelling at you.
That's it, the original one. I never remember playing Nightmare 2 or 3 with the other characters on the VHS tapes that came later, but that original Nightmare was so good. And here's a game that I remember from childhood, but I never see nowadays, Forbidden Bridge. So I'm stoked to see that.
So I picked that up pretty cheap. It is missing 3 of the parts, so I'm still hunting for those. But yeah, what an amazing game.
So good. Forbidden Bridge was awesome. Alrighty, so then we get some Street Sharks action and some more like some Star Wars, I guess, props or
Well, they're the Black Series Kylo and the Black Series Darth Vader.
Yep.
Not the Boba Fett. So, yeah,
Sweet.
just a little Star Wars line. I do have a large collection of the 90s Power of the Force
Yep.
figures, but again, nowhere to display them.
Yeah.
Too much going on.
Yeah, well, that's it. And the fact that you keep this space as a living area, like the couch, the TV unit, they take up, so they kind of come at the expense of display space, but I guess it means you can just spend more time enjoying the room. So
relax and enjoy.
that's it. And then we got, this is awesome. So a bit of a mixed bag here of just vintage goodness, biker mice from Mars, some Robin Hood stuff, Hook, we got the mask, we got Dick Tracy represented there, some Bucky O'Hare. Bit of a real mixed bag here.
Got some Waterworld, the only G.I. Joe.
Oh yeah.
I had that G.I. Joe as a kid. It was the only one I really remembered having, so I
Gotcha.
found him again to put him back in. Dick Tracy, not going for the line, but just wanted to have...
I love the Dick Tracy
Tracy,
figures.
yeah.
Well, if you're going to have one Dick Tracy figure, why not have the Dick?
That's it.
And then some Captain Planet, which is a line that I've not gotten into, but it is nostalgic. It certainly does stand out to me, those awesome 90s colours. Some Aliens, some X-Files stuff.
And then Predator and the Sleepy Hollow. That's Christopher Walken.
Oh yeah. And then these awesome Australian Gladiators figures, along with a random American Gladiator there as well. Man, these figures are... I really enjoy collecting them. Like, I'm really happy to have a few of these in my collection as well, but when you look at them, you know, objectively as a figure line relative to a lot of the other stuff that was coming out in the mid-90s, they're not great, but they're still very cool to see. And then more of a mixed bag here. So we've got some small soldiers, we've got some Ghostbusters stuff. I was happy to be able to help Dean out with Winston because we've got the trio of Ghostbusters there with a notable absentee. So Winston is coming to this shelf.
Thank you very much for that one.
That's all right, mate. And then tell us about this Page Master stuff.
So Page Master, it's a live/animated movie from the 90s with Macaulay Culkin. It just, like, I loved it when I was young, and they did a lot of merchandising for this movie, and a lot of people don't really know about it.
But it was a big favourite, a big childhood favourite for you?
Massive childhood favourite for me. And as you can see, it's kind of pulled in there, but you've got it on PC, SNES, there's Game Boy, CDs, audio tapes, the Tiger handheld there, and just mountains of books and things like that.
So is any of this stuff yours as a kid, or is this stuff that you've acquired over the years?
Only the VHS tape, which is back there.
And we've got plenty of VHS here, which we'll have a look at in a moment. So yeah, that's cool. Alrighty. And then more 90s movie figures here. This is a bit of an Arnie display, isn't it? So we've got the Terminator stuff.
It is. Who doesn't like a bit of Arnold Schwarzenegger? So we've got the Last Action Hero. So that line's complete figure-wise.
Wow.
It's not. Some of the new NECA T1000.
Once you get your He-Man, we'll have to get the Commando over here with the rest of the
Exactly.
Arnies. That's
and
awesome.
Then you've got your T2, so kind of army building there. Yeah.
The endoskeletons, yeah. That's awesome. And then this is Sequest.
So another sort of, I guess you could say, obscure line these days. But yeah, that is complete. I do have all the weapons for them as well, but I haven't put them out.
And then what's going on down here?
So just a little Stargate shelf. We will show you some more as we go around the room, but
Yep.
It's a 3D printed Atlantis. So that thing is just perfectly detailed. Got a couple of cards there that have costume parts in them, some props from the actual show with the scarab bugs at the back.
Yep.
And Matt from Keep On Collecting was nice enough to gift me a little Stargate light here, and I'll just see if the batteries still work. But
Oh, sweet.
yeah,
Shout out Matt. That's awesome.
thank you, Matt.
That's great. And then some awesome Independence Day stuff. Like, this is a figure line that I never used to really see that much of, but like at the fair today I saw a few figures floating about.
You did.
They're pretty cool.
I did not see them today.
They're pretty cool.
All my childhood in here, except for the carded figure. So The alien attack cruiser at the back was from my childhood.
Oh wow.
The figures, so they've got the disc there, which was really difficult to play. But you used to get one of these floppy disks in each figure.
Oh really?
So I think it was 1 to 4.
Wow.
So
I never knew
you
that.
needed to buy all the figures to play the mission.
Wow. That's awesome. Very cool. And then we've got the Street Sharks collection over here. Now, Street Sharks is a line that I enjoy collecting now as an adult, as a collector, but I didn't have any as a kid, because I feel like when they were coming around in 1995, I was starting to focus more on video games. But did you have some of these as a kid?
So like you know, I didn't. So
Oh, okay.
This was a figure line that I started picking up really early on, and not when I got back into it. I was still picking these up every now and then when I saw them or
Yep.
thought about them. But then got back into them quite hard, and it was a figure line that I wanted to complete.
Yeah.
I'm 3 figures.
And you're almost there.
Yes, 3 figures away
Yep.
from the whole.
Still accessories to
Accessories, yeah.
to piece together.
Just try to get the figures first.
Yep.
If you're a fan of Street Sharks, you know they're just going for so much money right now. The
Yeah.
accessories themselves.
It's awesome to see some of these harder to come by ones here. And the VHS at the back are awesome. They display nicely with the figures. Very cool.
So there is an empty spot there because I got an upgraded figure today.
Yep.
Collecticon. So haven't popped him in there.
So which one's going to go there?
That's the Slamu.
Oh, the original Slamu? Or no, the
it's
metallic one. Yeah, that's right.
Slamu. So the one I had didn't have a fin. So
And you got some extreme dinos down here, as well as some of the other Street Sharks in the line. So that's awesome. That's an awesome Street Sharks display.
yeah, they're just very large figures. So
They are. They take
do
up
take
so much space. But that's awesome. And then some more sweet board games here. I love that Dinosaurs board game.
So that was a pickup I got at Campbelltown Collecticon.
Oh, cool. Some other classic board games here. Labyrinth, the Disney 3D chess. And then we got some
So this is
Stargate figures up here.
this is actually my younger brother's Stargate collection.
Oh, is it?
Well, half of it is. And then as he got out of not collecting, as he got out of having them or wanting them, he gifted me them. So I picked up more. So you can see this shepherd here. Actually signed.
Oh, cool.
Met him. I think we went to Adelaide to meet him.
That's awesome. And then just a bunch of media here. Very cool. And here's where we start to see some VHS.
Yeah. So there's a bit of Star Trek Voyager out the back,
Oh, yep.
hidden behind those Stargate figures.
We've definitely crammed this space with as much as possible, but in a way where it still all displays really nicely. Are these VHS that you've had from back in the day, or are these stuff that you've picked up over the years since?
These are primarily picked up over the years.
Yep.
There are a few that I kept from my childhood, but not many.
And we've got those awesome Land Before Time Pizza Hut hand puppets.
Which are a lot harder to collect these days than I thought they'd be.
Yeah, they don't last the test of time particularly well. And some cool Visionary stuff here.
So Visionaries was a cartoon I loved. I still love that cartoon. So very hard to find a lot of Visionary stuff in Australia.
Yep.
The same with Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. Most people don't really remember that show. So it's a live action TV show from 1987.
Yep.
It is hard to come by. I was lucky enough to find the actual Captain Power figure in a little $5 bin.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I knew what he was, and I was very happy to have him.
Very cool. And then you got some sports memorabilia,
Yeah.
bits and pieces here, more VHS, some RoboCop figures.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of Nicolas Cage, so just sort of got a couple of little. So this is car from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yep.
And you've got the little pouch from National Treasure, so you can see a couple of VHS tapes behind there.
Yep. And then with this, like with this TMNT, like throw here, is that like an old Duna cover or?
Yeah, this is so this isn't my childhood one. I was gifted this.
That's awesome.
From my parents. They had purchased it again, so they found someone who had it. But it's the exact same one as I had when I was a kid. So
that's so good.
A lot of memories.
Oh, you had, so it's not the version.
Not the version, but I did have that on my bed.
That's so cool.
And you see the Stargate frame there.
Yep.
So minus Claudia Black and Tilk, I think it is. That's all been signed by all the actors.
Very cool. And then we get over to the video games over here. So Xbox 360.
So my video game started with the Sega Master System 2.
Yep, as did mine.
Yeah, so that's where it all started. Then into SNES and
Dude,
sort of
exactly the same for me. I went Sega Master System 2, which obviously we've got some Sega Master System 2 titles down here. Then SNES, then PlayStation 1.
Correct. So some of these are repro boxes.
Yep.
But they're all original cards. So these ones are like from my childhood.
Oh wow.
So, most of these bottom ones are actually the games I had, and for some reason I folded all the boxes down and kept them. So they don't have the inserts. But for some reason I just knew to keep those.
That's so cool. And then some 64 stuff. And some awesome little handhelds.
Yeah, so Tiger handhelds there from my collection. I remember our parents bought us them to keep us quiet in the back of the car on road trips. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, you've got a lot more video games in your collection than I realised, because when we're hanging out, we're looking for for vintage toys. I actually didn't realise the room was this, or your collection extended into video games this far. So
yeah, I got really into, I love the Xbox, the OG Xbox, growing up in my teens.
Yep.
And there were so many games I didn't play, so I started looking, and they're a great price now to pick them up. So these are all too deep. So I've got more of the games I like.
Oh wow.
Front and then.
Do you play a lot, or is it more collecting to try and piece a set together, or?
No, I play. This is kind of like my chill room, so
yeah.
Definitely come in here. It is difficult to pick a game when you have that many.
I can imagine. Just scanning the room again. Have we missed anything? We've got the Walking Dead stuff. Big fan of Walking Dead.
Big fan of Walking Dead. I haven't watched the last episode yet, so you can tell when this was filmed, because it was just on the other day. But yeah, my Walking Dead figures, nowhere near the whole set of those. Phantom was again one of my favourites. So this is actually another Stewart print that's signed by Billy Zane.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's a nice one there.
That's awesome. And I think we've not called everything out. Like, it's just impossible, because I try and keep these videos not too long, but hopefully you guys have been able to have a good look at just about everything that Dean's got here in his awesome collection room. Alrighty guys, there you have it for Dean's awesome collection room. Thank you for having us, mate. A big thanks.
You're welcome. It's been great.
Really appreciate it. We've obviously hung out a bunch of times at toy fairs, and behind every collector out there at a toy fair is a collection, so it's awesome to get a good look at what some of these awesome people in the toy community have in their collection rooms, in their sheds, in their man caves. So thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome to see your collection. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. So we'll wrap it up there, and thanks again. So there you have it for Dean's awesome toy and game room. Man, what a fantastic space. Like I mentioned earlier, I love the fact that it's very much a living space, in addition to being a place where Dean displays his collection, because that living space, the couch, the video game setup, the movies, the VHS, it makes it into a place where you just want to hang out and spend time. And I love that. And I'm definitely taking inspiration from Dean's collection room into how I continue to evolve my own collection room here. So I want to thank Dean and Sarah very much once again for welcoming us into their home. I want to thank Dean for taking the time to show us around and sharing all those great stories. And I hope I get another invite, because I want to go back. I want to spend more time hanging out in Dean's awesome collection room. So like I mentioned previously, I love making these types of videos. It's always so cool to see what other people in the collecting community have in their collections and to share in the passion and the stories that they have for those items, whether it's things that are close to my heart, as was the case for much of Dean's collection, or whether it's things that are totally removed from what I collect. I love to see it and share in that passion, and I'm definitely hoping to make more of these types of videos for you within the Aussie Collector Showcase series in 2023. But for now, there's two others that I would definitely recommend you go check out if you haven't already. And those were my collection room tours with Matt and Andrew, both of the guys behind the YouTube channel Keep On Collecting. Two fantastic collections, well worth checking out if you've not seen them already. But guys, that will do us for today. Thank you once again to Dean. I really appreciate you, mate. Thank you lot so much for watching. If you've made it this far, you're a dead set champion. I hope to hear from you in the comments, or as always, you can hit us up on Instagram at Crusher Collects. Hope to hear from you there or in the comments. And until the next one, cheers.